Hello, Ollie.
Hi Gary, no problem.
All right, right. I'll get straight into it then. Um, so, in terms of the Cardiff University rugby groups, how often would you post in the group?
I personally post fairly infrequently, often if I have a problem, um, such as not being able to attend a fixture or training, or if I have to notify them of an injury or something.
Okay, so it's done more only if the information is pertinent for you personally. Are you conscious of the language that you use and the what it is that you're actually posting within it as well?
Well, there's two different groups for the rugby club on Facebook. There's the social group,
Oh, okay.
which which has more informal language, which is to
Yeah.
notify members of the rugby club about social activities in the evening, for example, where they're going to meet for drinks and where they're going to go out. Um, and there's also the more formal group, which is uh, far more dry with information on fixtures and training and team selection. So I suppose language varies between the two groups in the sense that the first group, the social group, is far more informal,
Yeah.
whereas
Okay.
the rugby group is far more formal.
Okay. So the language that you would maybe take a little bit more time if it was within the formal group then.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thanks. So does everyone within the rugby club have an equal chance to post?
Everyone does have an equal chance, I suppose, but those who do post tend to be more senior in the group, especially the coaches and the committee members.
Okay.
Um, for example, on the social page, the social secretary probably posts
Yeah.
90% of the time, and people chip in with little inputs. But again, that's normally sort of first team players or committee members, or those in third year. Sort of first years chip in a little bit, but I suppose are often overlooked. But I
Okay.
suppose that's just the hierarchical system.
So it's sort of between positions on the committee, sort of how good an actual player they are, how high ranking they are within the club, and also age. They're all the sort of the three factors have something to
Yeah,
do with
so,
it.
so, so how well you're respected sort of in the club.
Okay, great, thanks. Um, so, well, that negates my last question on that section, which was concerning the key info or enjoyment, and if there's a balance within the group. So there's the two completely separate ones to keep one very sort of focused on the fixtures and sort of important information.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Um, so within these groups, are there terms that only members of the group will know of or be able to interpret accurately?
In the formal group, um, not really. I mean, there's sort of abbreviations for training places, and
Okay.
but the things that would be complicated would be things like the team, like tactics and strategy. But that tends to be discussed face to face because the coach wouldn't want it all going online so everybody in the whole club can see it, especially as not everybody on the group particularly plays, or they might have friends who play for different groups. In the
Okay.
social group, I suppose there's a little bit of informal chat that goes up
Yeah.
in respect that private jokes maybe, but it's fairly limited.
Okay.
Most
So
people sort of understand what's going on with it.
okay, great, thanks. So are the privacy settings on the group maximal then?
Yes,
So it's
only people within the group will be able to see only people within the rugby club will be able to get on the group and post on the group.
okay. So even though there are these maximal privacy settings, still people are very conscious of them. So the language concerning line, even
Yeah,
with
I
these
guess I suppose
settings.
because it's such a big group, you don't particularly know everyone. I suppose you don't want to come across as um, come across as being a bit of an idiot, especially if you're a younger member and you don't know many people.
Yeah.
Keep it fairly limited.
Okay. Um, so are there instances of taboo topics or language which are posted within the groups? Maybe Yeah.
you know, what's going to go on, but it's always very light-hearted, never personal to anyone or anything like that.
Yes, yeah, sort of quite broad.
Yeah.
And so I take it, is there also then like taboo language sort of thing? So is swearing something that's prevalent within the group?
Not that I particularly noticed. I wouldn't be shocked if I saw it on there, but
Yeah.
you know, it's not a common feature, I wouldn't say.
Okay, great. So if you're talking to someone either online or maybe meeting someone for the first time out sort of thing in Cardiff, is the team being sort of part of the rugby club something which you feel is important about what makes you at the university? Is it something that you would foreground?
I think it's definitely joining at the rugby club is definitely something I recommend to somebody who was sort of interested in it. I think it's a great way to meet. But it's not the first thing that comes, not the first thing I'd say to someone. But I suppose often on a night, for example, if you meet someone on a night out, you tend to be with sort of rugby players, and a big group of boys sort of probably comes across a sort of, people could probably guess that you're part of
team.
Group, and rugby is one of those sort of options that will come to mind for most people, I think.
Okay, so it's sort of quite obvious sometimes, even without mentioning it or bringing it up, especially I suppose on the socials and on nights like that.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay, so if someone was viewing your Facebook profile for the first time, would they be able to tell that you were a member of the rugby club?
At the moment, yes, purely just because my actual timeline photo is a photo of me playing rugby for Cardiff. However, having said that, you can't. You wouldn't be able to look at it and see, oh, that's Cardiff.
Yeah, you'd have to know it.
Sort of badge is covered up. It isn't even. Yeah, it's sort of me playing rugby for them. And I suppose it's not. Otherwise, it's not. I post every day about being part of the rugby. But if you look for it, you'll find it. I suppose there's a couple of photos and maybe a couple of posts, but nothing over the top. Nothing that is too obvious.
Okay. And are there any other players in the squad which maybe do foreground this online a little bit more? In terms of being part of the club?
I suppose so. But actually, on sort of time on profile, it's fairly limited. When it comes to the groups, it's quite a lot. Obviously, because of privacy settings, not everyone can really see it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Slightly more than other people, but it's more than other people.
Okay, interesting. And so finally, the other players within the teams and the club in general, when they're posting within the group, social or the sort of the serious information group, and then on their own sort of public Facebook, maybe status updates, or they're like writing on other people's walls. Is there a noticeable difference in how they post, or is it sort of much of a muchness?
In the formal group, I suppose it's fairly blunt. Sort of short and sweet. You don't want to go on. You just literally often providing a yes or a no answer.
Okay.
I suppose it's fair. It's probably, in terms of a scale, I'd say the rugby group is, in terms of expressing yourself, I suppose, would be at the bottom, and then sort of the social group would be at the top, and your own sort of wall would be in the middle, because the restrictions on that as much. You're not being judged so directly, I suppose. Okay,
so it is again that this the initial group concerning the training and the fixtures, it's very fact based almost, and then sort of the self expression and things can come out a little bit more when in the social group.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, Ollie, that's everything I need. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.